I was walking to school one day with a blocked nose, and so I decided that I should clear it out, and so I did, but the problem was, it must have been the wind or something, but it blew down and landed on my trousers in the worst possible spot, if you know what I mean. And so then, not only was it really embarrassing to try and wipe it off, but I realised it wasn't coming off. That was stuck there. And so I realised I'm cooked. And that was just another Monday. Of course it was Monday. And so I finally get to school after I've thrown on a coat to try and hide it, knowing full well that eventually the coat's going to have to come off. I almost ran to the toilet because the bell was about to go for lesson or registration or whatever it was. And it's locked. Of course it's locked. So I'm panicking, thinking my whole life is over, when finally a teacher comes. The teacher unlocks the door for me after I beg him a little bit, and I suspect the only reason why he actually let me is because I did good in his class a few years ago. But I finally managed to get into the bathroom, clean it off with a bit of water, and I was sorted. I forgot about it for the rest of the day because there was nothing to worry about anymore. And so it turns out the times in school when you fear the worst, the times in school when you feel like your whole life is over, in the end it kind of all just works out. Good things happen and bad things happen, but at the end of the day you always survive and you always end up sleeping in the same bed. So what does it matter? And so one of the best things you can do in school is stop caring what other people think. But you've heard that enough times. Every single person says that. It's a cliche. And knowing that other people's opinions don't matter doesn't actually make them any less real. So I'll tell you what I did to help me deal with the fear of judgment I had, because I could never fully get rid of it. It was always there, no matter how many videos I watched telling me that judgment doesn't matter. What did actually help me was reducing the stakes. For example, let's say you want to start something, but you're too scared of what other people would think. Take a YouTube channel, for example. Now, I started this YouTube channel while I was still in high school. And the funny thing is, after over a year of posting videos, I still haven't told a soul. Nobody knows that I go out and record videos. I never told anybody, because even now I talk about quite vulnerable topics and I still fear what people would think. And so I just never told anyone. And I still started anyway, and I'm still recording videos now. And maybe they'll never even know. Who knows? In fact, most of the things I did, I never really told that many people. It wasn't just with content creation and making songs here and there. It was also things like journaling or going for runs and all of the other weird self-improvement stuff that nobody at that age does, like meditation. I kept it all to myself, and I had a life outside of school. And this is what I want you to do as well. You see, school takes up almost all of your time. Almost every waking hour is at school, except for weekends, but they fly by so fast that you barely even notice they're there. And next thing you know, it's Monday again. But it's good to have a life outside of school, because otherwise you become kind of passive. You just go to school, you talk to some people, you get average grades. That's not what you want to do. You want to get good grades in school, have good friends in school, and then when school's over, you go hit the gym or you go record a video. You do something that's going to carry on to after you're finished with school. Because another problem with being passive and just living your life in school is that once it's over, you'll be so lost. You'll be faced with no school and you won't know what to do. I believe school is only for friends and for memories. Now hold on, let me explain. Yes, it's important to get your education and so on, but after working hard and getting really good grades in school, I work in a shop. I could have done awful and failed horribly in school and I'd still end up in the same job. Obviously I'm not going to work in a shop forever, but my point is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I got these good grades. The only benefit I really see as of right now is that in the future I can look back and think, wow, I did good in school. Because whether you get A stars or A's or B's, chances are you'll still get accepted into jobs because they always have to start you at the entry position anyway. My advice is spend more time with friends than just studying. Because yes, you can get good grades by just going ghost mode and dedicating your life to studying or whatever. But in high school, that doesn't really matter. Maybe if you go on to university or something more important. But for high school, just have a good time with your friends. Some of the best memories I've had in school were when I was going on trips. And there's one event that I missed because I was on holiday. Although I was happy in the moment to miss it, it was prom. I didn't have a girl to go with, and a lot of my friends didn't really want to go for one reason or another. But then, yeah, my holiday was fun, but I looked at stories and posts from people who went to the prom, and now I actually feel a bit of regret that I didn't go. It looked like it was an event worth going to. And that's the point, just go to the events, go to the clubs. This is how you meet people. This is how you make those experiences. This is how you make those stories you can tell to people in the future. That trip I went on once, it was a 5-hour bus ride, and those 5 hours were probably what made it. In fact, those 10 hours, because we had to go back as well, that was a highlight of the trip. It was a bus ride that we had fun on, and we wouldn't have gone on the bus together had we not gone to the trip. It wasn't about the destination, it was about the journey. High school is one of those times in your life when you can look back and tell people stories that make them think, wow, there's no way you did that. So do more crazy things. Do things that you might kind of regret or feel embarrassed about in the moment, but then in the future you'll be so happy you did them. You see, one of the best things about high school, yeah, it can be fun living through it, but it's when you get to look back and remember the good times. And there's a bit of nostalgia in there, a bit of melancholy, it's a bit bittersweet. But you're going through high school anyway, so don't waste the time, at least make something worthwhile from it. In fact, another thing you can do in school that makes the time more productive, if you're one of those people that like sneaking productivity into everything, definitely not me, you can use it to experiment. Social skills, for example. Social skills are really important, and you need social skills to basically do anything. This is part of the reason why I do content creation, so I can learn to get better at speaking. It's why I'm happy with my job in the shop, because I get to speak to customers every day and I get to practice my speaking skills. But school's a good place to learn because there's so many people that are really shy. If you can get confident with speaking to people, it's a lot easier than you think, because you can say hello to random people and they'll just ignore you because they're so scared of replying and they'll be too nervous to even judge you. So you can do whatever. It's a good place to experiment with anything really. You can find new friends. I made a video about this, how I switched friend groups a few years back, about 2 years ago. It was one of the best decisions I ever made in high school. But I'm just saying, make things happen, change things around and try out everything that's new. There's so much more to it than you think. Right now, if you're still in school, you're probably just dragging through the days and the sky's all grey and cloudy and it sucks, especially if you're in biology class, but it doesn't have to be that way. And so the last thing, and I realize this now looking back, is that I'm never going to go to high school ever again. I'm still young, but I will never get to go to high school ever again. And so if you're still in high school now, why are you trying to rush through it? Why do you want it to be over as soon as possible? Are you trying to wait until you get to face life after school? Because life in school can be so much more enjoyable. You get a schedule, and while you might not like people always telling you what to do, it's a simpler way of living. And when life is simpler, you can focus more on the things that matter. Friends, family, having a good time. You're not going to get to go to high school again, yeah? So while I am glad that I got the entire experience, part of me is still a bit sad because there's so many things that I didn't do in school. The best thing you can do to get through high school is make it a good time. That's it, just enjoy everything there is there. Because one day you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss those busy, tiny, crowded hallways. You're gonna miss the favorite teacher you had. You're gonna miss your least favorite teacher. You're gonna miss that kid that was your arch nemesis. You're gonna miss your best friend who moved away after school. You're gonna miss all of it. Yeah? And what better way is there to miss it than to make it the best time possible? So if I could have 2 words to give to a high schooler student, if that's you, still in school, enjoy it.